Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. As some of you may know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so I have a little bit of a special video for you. The color of Sexual Assault Awareness Month is teal, and so I'm going to be doing a bit of a teal makeup tutorial today. And we're just going to talk a little bit about sexual assault and why it's an important thing to talk about. I know there's been a lot of stuff in the news about Me Too. That's kind of it's been a couple years now, it's been a while, and so I think it's important that we still talk about sexual assault and that we still talk about the different prevention strategies that people are using and how people talk about it. And I think that the way we talk about assault is something that, even though we've had sort of this reckoning at a high level, we haven't necessarily really delved into the way that we treat survivors of sexual assault on a day-to-day basis and people in our lives, and rape culture and what all that means. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but first let's get into it. As some of you may know, I am pretty involved with a lot of the sexual assault advocacy work here at Emory. I've seen kind of the changes that have happened since Me Too kind of became a thing, and since we got started with that whole movement. Uncovering some of that new information has been a really powerful thing for, I think, a lot of people, just to see that people are willing to change their opinions and people are willing to listen to people's stories in a way that I don't think has always been possible. There's been a lot of institutionalized will to keep people silent about the things that they've experienced. And I think that that's something that's definitely changing, and it's been amazing to see that shift and to see that change. And obviously everything's not fixed and everything's not perfect. There still is some institutional will to keep survivors silent, and I think it's important that we talk about that, particularly on college campuses, just because I think that, like I said, I think that a lot of the will to do something about sexual violence and to do something about rape and to do something about rape culture in general is really kind of stayed at a high level, at an elitist level. And while that's great, and it's great to see that those powerful men can fall, I think it's also important to talk about the people that are operating at different levels of society. In the entertainment industry, there's always cameras and always people watching that allows things like the media and reporting stuff to gossip sites, as bad of a reputation as those sites can have. They do have a certain power to kind of cope with abuse in these kind of backdoor means. Violence still exists at levels that isn't visible to us and isn't as part of sort of the sensationalized story about it. Something that I think is important to talk about, particularly in the context of my obvious college background, is that campus sexual assault is a whole other category too that doesn't maybe get the amount of attention it needs, particularly on these more liberal college campuses. We kind of tend to have this idea that, oh, that doesn't happen here, and when it does, that it's this big extreme event. And I think a lot of the work to be done is just destigmatizing and understanding that everyone's story is different. There's no single narrative of violence. There is no one solution. It's developing sort of safety nets and mechanisms that can help people that are coming at the problem from many different angles, because everyone's experience it's just so different. So I'm just doing my base right now, something simple while we talk. Something else I want to talk about is the way that activism has become trendy. And that's something that I don't necessarily condemn, because I think that the more people that are getting involved, the better. However, I think there is something to be said of the lack of genuine interest in the movement. And I think it's important to talk about that with my generation. Everyone is so concerned with social media, and obviously this is a video about activism and about an issue that I care about that I'm posting on social media. So it's a powerful tool, but it also needs to be understood. I'm involved with organizations on campus that do trainings, and I help plan a conference about interpersonal violence prevention. And there's all these different spaces where these conversations are happening, but they're not necessarily accessible to everyone. Even though we try and make them, people don't necessarily seek them out, or it can be intimidating to put yourself in those spaces if you don't feel like you are ready to have those conversations. And I think it's important to use the platforms that are available to us and not turn our back on them just because they sometimes get a bad reputation for people that will be activism tourists and not take the causes seriously. Something that I think is important about talking about beauty and appearance with rape culture in general is the tendency for people to blame the assault on what a person was wearing. And I think that that is something that is absolutely insane. I was recently part of planning an art installation that was in the library. It was called the What Were They Wearing campaign. It was really a powerful installation, I think. It was basically a bunch of different stories from survivors and about what they were wearing when they were assaulted. One of the most powerful outfits, I think, to me at least, there was a little girl's dress with these tiny little ballet flats with bows on the toes. That was next to like a university sweatshirt and sweatpants and ball cap. That juxtaposition to me is something that was really powerful for me to see next to each other, just that reminder of this is everyone's issue. It's so much more than your appearance, and it's so much more than how you look or what you're wearing or who you are. It's not the fault of what someone was wearing or how much makeup they were wearing. You're never asking for it at any different level. So in some ways, like that's kind of what this video is too. Yeah, I'm gonna have a full beat at the end of this. No, that doesn't mean that I'm a slut. Yeah, it's a Tuesday afternoon, but I wanted to put on a full face of makeup, and that's fine. That's totally okay. So my camera died, so you might have missed some of this, but basically I started doing a teal eyeshadow look just because it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and teal is the color of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's looking a little bright, a little crazy right now, but we're gonna start blending, and I've just been trying to kind of pack on the colors a little bit, and we'll finish up. Okay, so I think we're done with sort of this teal smoky situation that's happening right now, and I'm gonna start packing on this blue glitter shade. Yeah, and then we're just gonna go in. This is so fun. I never do color. Another thing I wanted to talk about was what something like Sexual Assault Awareness Month means. Things like this run the risk of just being for just like a quick social media blast or a quick blast to just be like, okay, look, I care about something, and then you go back to your life and don't think about it. One of the ways I think that events like this can be more powerful is just to, like, when celebrating them, to think more about educating yourself about the thing that the month, the event, the day, whatever is celebrating, and less about for show aspects. So like, yeah, it's great to like do something to celebrate Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but I think at the same time it's important to celebrate with education, to celebrate with advocacy, with activism. I know something that I feel good about that I participate in is the Office of Respect hosts a conference in April about sexual assault prevention and awareness and interpersonal violence prevention through a social justice lens. And so I help work on that conference and then go to the sessions, try and educate myself, try and further myself and further my understanding. There's always more you can learn. There's always more you can do. And that can be a daunting thing. Okay, so now we're looking very blue. It's looking a little crazy, but it's one of those things, especially with bright colored looks, not that I'm the expert, you add liner and lashes and everything. all is right with the world. So we're gonna do that really quick. We're gonna do some quick mascara and then move on to lashes. All right, and I'm doing my lashes off camera and I'll be right back. Lashes are on. I think that I no longer look half insane. I'm going to do my eyebrows really quickly, and then I'm gonna try a couple different lip colors. I don't usually wear lipstick, but I have this teal and it feels appropriate given the theme. So we'll see how it looks. So my brows are done. I don't do that much to them because they're already pretty nice. I did tweeze them like practically off my face when I was in middle school. So I've worked for them. I've earned them. I'm gonna try this on. We're gonna see. Okay, now I have to do some poses. This is the final look. It's a lot of teal. That was the point. I probably would never wear this in real life, but here we are. It's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Let's celebrate. I hope that you think a little bit about rape culture and, sexual assault prevention, what you can do and what others are doing to try and prevent sexual assault. Having like a dedicated month isn't necessarily the best advocacy strategy because it's a year-round issue, but I think that it is important to take this time to think about what you can be doing, maybe how you're contributing to the problem, how people in your life are contributing to the problem. Take the time to celebrate by doing, maybe more silly things like your makeup and all teal. And also think about what you can do to celebrate in a more serious way in terms of educating yourself and making sure that you're aware of the issue. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.